Were they embraced 15 years ago? No. You know what? You were like whacked if you even talked about stuff like that, huh? 20 years ago? And this guy was actually implementing it in his wellness protocol with his own patients and then recording the data? Can you believe that that happened? Really, I don't think we understand how important that is. Well, guess what? He started doing that. And over time, to this point, he has now clinically tested, put people on a medical protocol, including L-arginine and some other things. And because of his research and because of his findings and because of what has happened in his practice, the American Diabetes Association has honored him with probably one of the greatest honors ever. He received the Father of the Year award, and you know something? He kind of giggled and said, well, my children are grown. Why am I getting that award? And do you want to know what the American Diabetes Association said? He said, you know something? We are honoring you this because you have saved more lives than any other physician in the United States. We are honoring you because you have clinically tested and documented the results of more than 7,000 patients. You have not admitted one patient to the hospital for 19 years, and you haven't lost one patient to heart attack or stroke in 19 years. You guys, does this almost scare you? It almost is scary because it is so big. Now let's just talk a little bit more. Look at Dr. Prendergast. Do you know when he started his interest? It's about 35 years ago. Don't you think that's interesting? Well, all of a sudden, about 20 years ago, he starts recording, and now all of a sudden this data is coming. People are starting to hear about what's going on, huh? There's a body of people who have had such emotional and profound results that it's really starting to get out there. The High Desert Heart Institute, which, as we know, is an affiliate of Cedars-Sinai Hospital in California, has conducted a mighty human clinical study. We can't go into details right now, except to say, as far as the findings go, I can quote Dr. Siva, but I cannot do anything more because we do not want to taint the findings of the medical statisticians who are compiling this data, because if you mess with it, then it becomes invalid medically, and this could prove to be one of the most profound announcements of our century, because it will start in motion some other things that you can be a part of. And this little company, Synergy, has this information. Now, that's kind of a scratch the head one, huh? Do you know, I can tell you, though, this clinical study was administered to only the seriously ill. And they were, quote, at the maximum pharmacological and medical management. They had exhausted every possible medicine, procedure, evaluation, anything. And they started on this test, and I thought that this was quite interesting. John Hewlett pointed this out with Dan Swindell, and I thought this was so profound. Dan said in response to John's question, he says, you know, people who do clinical studies don't like to fail. And yet here is this clinical evaluation that was only done with the almost dead. And this study will prove to be enormous. And it is so incredible. Dr. Siva says that the extraordinary results, and he says that we have seen, quote, remarkable and positive remodeling of the heart. That is so exciting. I'm going to tell you something else. Again, look at this timeline because this is huge. Excuse me, how many of you have ever heard of Brian Williams? I thought it was a different one, but no. #1 cardiologist in Europe. I was able to spend some time with Dr. Prendergast. I've been spending some time with him, and he's been, you know how he does. He just starts yicking at you, and you just listen. You just listen, listen, listen. He was telling me how funny this was. Brian Williams actually was one of the co-producers and developers of the pulse wave technology. And in collaboration with Brian Williams, Dr. Prendergast started telling him some of the things that were going on. Now, you've got to remember, Brian Williams was one of the collaborators that developed the test that could give us cardiopulse waves. So he understands the mechanism of the test, right? What he can't believe is the results. It's bugging him. It's curious. It's not right to him. And he says that while collaborating with Dr. Prendergast, he says, this just can't be right because of what Dr. Prendergast is experiencing. So the man who actually invented the technology is having a hard time because as medicine, this is the greatest discovery. Okay? Now you're probably saying, okay, what happens if this information gets out? What are we going to do when we all of a sudden now start telling this story? I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what it means to you. Kind of scares me. Okay? Why Synergy? Why Synergy? Why did they have this? I mean, doesn't that just make you go, I don't get that. I'll tell you exactly why, because Dr. Prendergast, with all of this research, he had this information. He wanted to produce an effective and a complete product. A product that would encompass every necessary component that he was using in these medical protocols that were getting his 7,000 patients well. That was, and excellence was his standard. He wanted to deal with a solid company, and he chose Synergy and Nature Sunshine products. Why? Why did they do that? Best manufacturing facility of pharmaceutical-grade nutritionals in the world. He consulted with 33 PhDs at Nature Sunshine to come up with this formulation. Collaboratively, Nature Sunshine, they developed this formula, but guess what? Guess who owns the formula? Synergy! He wanted to also have an avenue to put this through the world. He wanted to help people all around the world. He wanted to be able to continue the improvement of this formulation and be able to have a pulse on really what was going on. And he wanted to be associated with ethical, a conservative, and a financially strong company. That's why he picked us. And do you want to know why else I think he picked us, which was the smartest thing he could have done? What happens when my cute friend Larry has this experience? What does he do? He tells people about it, doesn't he? Don't you think that's far more powerful than a pharmaceutical company? Far more. It becomes personal. This is so exciting. Synergy Worldwide, let me give you some of their financial stats. We learned some of this yesterday. 110 million in liquid assets. I just want you to kind of think about the current economic position. That's kind of cool. Zero debt, long or short term. They're open in 20 international markets, and their goal is to be in 70 within 15 to 20 years. Okay? They're traded on the NASDAQ. They've grown 70% third quarter this year over last year. Okay? That is huge. Okay? Retention rate. We have a retention rate in this company of 52.5%. Do you know what that means? Okay, how many of you are in sales? How many of you are, raise your hand if you've ever been in sales. How would you like to sell something once and 52.5% of the time, the next month, they're going to just buy that with or without you? Holy cow. How about the next month? You just get a couple more people and 52.5% keep buying that product. When you have a product like this, it doesn't matter about you. It doesn't matter if you're good at this. It doesn't matter if you know these statistics. It doesn't matter because it's not about you. It's about that product that is saving people's lives and changing it so it becomes emotional. And this is a phenomenon that has never happened in network marketing. And that is what just blows me away. They have the ability to handle rapid growth. Did you know that our manufacturing facility that you just barely saw is only functioning at 60% capacity? Hello? I mean, every piece is here. They pay the highest in the industry. They own the proprietary. We've talked that. And guess what? Stuart said something so profound yesterday. And do you want to know what he said? Is name one company that is expanding right now like that. I don't know. Okay, now check this out. Don't you think it's a bit odd that all of these things have happened? 35 years it's taken. I want you to know something else. Synergy Worldwide with Nature Sunshine. Stu, how old is Nature Sunshine products? 37 years old. Amazing. They got their start. Did you know that Nature Sunshine started? You saw it? Because Christine wanted to be able to put cayenne pepper in a capsule. All of a sudden they start doing this, and you know, amazing things are about to happen. They acquired Synergy, and now here we are. Name one competitor that has this.